Which team, in your opinion, needs to win the most?
Yeah, I would say the Cowboys.
Okay.
For one, they can still win the division.
Okay.
And after the game against the Eagles, I think the momentum is also shifting in their direction.
Sure.
To me, the Falcons are pretty much done in the division.
Why would you say that?
The Falcons, well, the Saints are so far ahead, and also Carolina is so far ahead. I just think they're too far back to make up the difference. The Cowboys can still win it. I know the Redskins still lead the division, but they have the best opportunity to win between the both coming out of those divisions.
All right, next up for you, current Super Bowl champs face off against one of the favorites to win it. You just talked about the Saints, Eagles-Saints. Can the Eagles get a much-needed win? I know the Saints are 8 straight right now, but no?
No.
Okay.
I think we've seen the Eagles' best chance and the best shot they given all season when they played the Cowboys. And sometimes when you have these games like that, you have a letdown, right? They gave everything they had. It was a must-win type of game. They lost, and now you go and see arguably one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. To be honest, I don't even think this game is going to be close.
I think we might see a surprise. I'm not calling no predictions, but a surprise. How about that?
You mean like a difference in 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Divisional matchup between the Bears and the Vikings. These teams sitting at 1-2 in the NFC North. More confidence in Kirk Cousins or Mitchell Trubisky?
Well, Kirk Cousins is the better quarterback. He's going to go out and probably have a better game. The problem is he has to see this Bears defense. Khalil Mack, these guys, they're rolling on that side of the ball. Now, the Bears is one of the best making them turnover, and they'll have some big turnovers and things like that. But in this case, Trubisky has been playing better lately. I just think that Kirk Cousins, because of the defense that they're going to see against the Bears, won't come out with a victory. Have we decided, I want to talk to my producers, does he like to be called Mitch or Mitchell? Have we decided that or not? I say Mitch because I always... It feels comfortable to say Mitch. Okay, right. So let's get on to your Lights Out Player of the Week, as we do every week. I got to go with the hot hand and Todd Gurley. Oh. I mean, this dude, he's just on another level. I'm glad that I'm retired now, that I don't have to go out and see players like this because he's just one of the best all-around backs. And not to mention, he's going to face the Kansas City Chiefs, who've been struggling against the run. They can't stop anybody right now, and I think that this is going to be a game where Todd Gurley go and rushes probably for 120 yards. You're okay. I think so, but the problem is that the Kansas City Chiefs could put up 30-plus points at any given time. I didn't ask you this. Who wins, Rams, Chiefs? Quick. I'm going with the Chiefs. Oh, I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm going with the Rams. All right, David, back to you. That's Sean Merriman, West Coast offense.
All right, Carrie, let's go college. Houston playing Tulane last night, and it gave us a charged and borderline ridiculous scene. Ed Oliver, Kruger's great defensive tackle, has missed the last 4 games with a knee injury. Moving pretty well pregame, but inactive for the game. And the Houston coach, Major Applewhite, has a rule. Only active players can wear jackets. I'm not sure why he has that rule, but his All-American defensive tackle was wearing a jacket when he's not supposed to. So Applewhite, here's the ridiculous part. He starts taking the jacket off of Oliver, and Oliver was not happy. He had to be restrained as they're leaving for the locker room at halftime. Subtext here is that Oliver's going to be a high draft pick, maybe could be playing. Here's Applewhite afterwards.
We just have a rule on the sideline that guys that are participating in the games, and specifically starters, that they have jackets so they can stay cool. And, as a coach who's coached and played for years, you don't want 1,000 guys in a jacket when it's only 50 degrees outside. You want guys to stand up, be off the bench, and be tough. And some guys had them early on. I asked them to take them off. I asked our equipment staff to take them off. And Ed had one, so I asked him to take it off because I don't want to be unfair and unequal to the other guys. And, he got emotional.
When a coach makes a rule, he needs guys to follow it. Looks bad on him if they don't. Not sure if you're Major Applewhite, you pick that hill to defend. Let's bring in Game Day's Desmond Howard from the UCF campus. Des, always curious, as a player, how you come down on what we saw on that sideline last night.
Well, it's hard to judge because I don't know what was said between the player and the coach. But I think, if you're a head coach with a player of the magnitude of what Ed is to that program and what he's been able to do there, I think it's the way you approach him and how you ask him about taking the jacket off. I mean, he looks very, to me, his demeanor as far as the coach is concerned, the way he approached Ed Oliver was in a way was kind of like, hey, yeah, get that coat off, kind of dismissive. I don't know if he approached Ed with the respect that a guy like Ed Oliver warrants from his head coach. And so I think that's why things escalated to the point where Ed felt disrespected and wanted to put hands on the coach, because you can see that the approach wasn't one of respect and anything of, to me, the caliber of player that Ed is that you would do with a guy like that. Maybe a guy who's a third-string linebacker or a walk-on punter, but you don't treat Ed Oliver the way it appeared that the head coach, Major Applewhite, treated him on the sideline about that coat.
You know, it's interesting. We're all trying to navigate this new era where college players protect themselves a little bit for the draft. He's Ed Oliver's 7th on Mel Kiper's latest big board. Maybe he could be playing, who knows, but I think the coach and the player having a hard time sort of figuring out the ground rules here. All right, let's move on. The game of Week 12, Des, Notre Dame and Syracuse at Yankee Stadium. What would Cuse need to do to pull off the upset and shake up the playoff picture?
Wow. I tell you what, I think that first and foremost, you want to stop the running game. I mean, Notre Dame, they have a running back named Dexter Williams, who, I mean, this kid right there, he's been spectacular the second half of the season. Didn't play the first 4 games, but ever since then, he scored 10 touchdowns on the ground. He averages 128 yards per game. And to me, he's really what keeps the offense going. He keeps them on schedule. The quarterback, Ian Book, didn't play a week ago, but they didn't miss him because that man right there, he's the guy, to me, he's the straw that stirs the drink, and he's what keeps their offense moving. Ball control offense. He keeps them ahead of the chain. So I think, first and foremost, the Orangemen of Syracuse would have to stop Dexter Williams in the running game.
All right, we'll look forward to that one at Yankee Stadium. Pinstripes for the Irish. The game you're at, number 24 Cincinnati, number 11 UCF. So much debate about whether UCF belongs in the playoff picture. How do you think this Knights team would stack up against one of the better teams in the nation?
I tell you what, you know, they have an explosive offense, and they have a really good defense too. But when you're playing against some of these other teams in the nation, I don't know if they can hold up 4 quarters defensively against them. Now, Mackenzie Milton and that group, I mean, they're going to score on anyone in the country. There's no doubt about that. They're a team that's explosive. Josh Heupel has done a fantastic job as the head coach, keeping it going. But I think they may have an issue with some of the powerhouses of college football when you have to play them for 4 quarters. And don't forget, defensively, I think the Knights are good on defense, but they're better in the second half. So that means that when you're playing against a powerhouse team, you can't afford to get off to a slow start like they have defensively throughout the season.
Matchup of ranked teams at UCF tomorrow. Looking forward to a College game day in Orlando for the very first time. Desmond and the crew will be filling us in on all of it for Week 12.